Now the next problem is the air flows through an adiabatic compressor at 2 kg per second. The inlet conditions are 1 bar and 310 Kelvin, and the exit conditions are given at 7 bar and 560 Kelvin. Now compute the net rate of availability transfer and the irreversibility. Take T naught is equal to, that is the ambient temperature is 298 Kelvin. So, okay. So now just draw the diagram. There is an air compressor. So let us assume this is an air compressor. This is the inlet condition of the compressor, and here I am taking the outlet condition. So number 11 I am representing as a one inlet condition, and number 2 is given as an outlet condition. So this is your compressor, obviously. Now the initial pressure and temperature is given, and the pressure and temperature at the inlet condition are given as 1 bar and 310 Kelvin. It is 1 bar and 310 Kelvin, and the outlet condition, the pressure P2 and temperature T2 is given as 7 bar and 560 Kelvin. The ambient temperature T naught is given as 298 Kelvin. This is the ambient condition is given to us. Now the air, the mass flow rate of air, this mass flow rate of air is given as 2 kg per second, and since 2 kg per second, and since it is an under steady state condition that and no mass is accumulated within the system and under the steady state condition, so the mass at inlet will be equal to the mass at outlet. So here itself the mass flow rate will be equal to 2 kg per second. Okay, so this is the condition. Now we have to calculate the availability transfer and irreversibility. So we have to calculate availability transfer and irreversibility. So mass flow rate is given, pressure is given, temperature is given. So at inlet condition and as well as on the outlet condition, we can find what is the flow rate, and that the air flow rate we can easily calculate by using the equation PV is equal to mRT. So now using ideal equation, ideal gas equation at inlet and outlet, so P1 V1 is equal to m dot RT. So once you calculate by putting all the values, then the V1 comes out to be 1.779 meter cube per second. This is the volume flow rate of the air at the inlet condition. Similarly, by using the equation P2 V2 is equal to m dot RT2, since all the values are known to us, so V2, that is the volume, so V1 dash and V2 dash, that is the volume flow rate. The volume flow rate at outlet condition, if you calculate, then it comes to be 0.453 meter cube per second. So this is the volume flow rate at inlet as well as the volume flow rate at outlet condition will be given. So now the availability transfer, so this mass, so availability at inlet, so what is the availability at inlet? If suppose I am writing it is at AF1, that is the availability at inlet, so this value is nothing but this is H1 minus T0 S1. that is the H1 minus T0 S1, and availability at outlet, that is AF2. This AF2 is nothing but this is H2 minus T0 S2. So change in availability or availability transfer. So availability transfer, suppose I am writing it as a capital delta A, so this is nothing but it is AF1 minus AF2, that is H1 minus H2 minus T0 of S1 minus S2. So H1 minus S2 is nothing but it is Cp T1 minus T2 minus T0. Now what is S1 minus S2? S1 minus S2 is, since we know that the volume as well as the pressure, then the pressure, this entropy difference can be written as Cp ln V2 upon V1 plus Cv ln P2 upon P1. This is for S2 minus S1. So I am just writing here plus sign, because this is nothing but it is S2 minus S1 formula. So this formula is basically used for S2 minus S1, and I am taking S1 minus S2, so this will be coming. So if you put all the values as, then total availability transfer delta A, that is, this is for per kg of mass. So if we multiply it by mass flow rate, so m dot Cp T1 minus T2 plus T0 Cp ln V2 upon V1 plus Cv ln P2 upon P1. Now by putting all the values, so we will get this value as minus 481.14 kilowatt. Why it is negative sign? This negative sign basically shows that the availability has been reduced, because I am taking the availability transfer from inlet to outlet, that is AF1 minus AF2. So total availability, since it is a negative, it means the availability factor of the gas has been increased. It is just because in a compressor we are just doing some work, so because of this work the availability has been improved. So this negative sign, so availability transfer would be AF2 minus A1, and then delta A comes out to be 481.14 kilowatt. So this much of the availability has been transferred. Now we have to calculate what is the irreversibility. So irreversibility is nothing but this part is your irreversibility, because it is T0 S2 minus S1. So T0 S2 minus S1 will be the irreversibility, or we can say that what is the, this is the availability, that is the availability with the air, and what is the actual work has been done. So we can, in other way we can calculate the actual work done through done on compressor, that is W dot, this is nothing but it is m dot H2 minus H1 by the first principle, first law of thermodynamics. So this m dot H2 minus H1 will give you 2 into 251.25, then this value comes out to be 502.5 kilowatt. So this is the actual work, not it is basically, this is I'm sorry, this is not the actual work, this is an ideal work that has to be done on the compressor. This is basically an ideal work, of course it is an ideal work. Okay, this is not actual work, because ideal work, because we are considering that there is no friction will be there, means no irreversibility is occurring. So in the absence of any friction or irreversibility, the maximum work that can be done on the compressor is an ideal work. This is equal to this one. So what is the change? This is the actual work, and this much, this that is this thing, the availability which has been transferred, this availability transfer is nothing but this is the ideal work which a gas or air can do. So this can again be said that it is your ideal work too. This is ideal work too. Sorry, this is actual work too. I'm sorry. This is actual work. Okay. So what is irreversibility? So irreversibility I, that is nothing but it is the difference of an ideal work and an actual work. W ideal minus W actual. Ideal work is nothing but it is the maximum work that can be done in the absence of any friction, any irreversibility and all that. So ideal work is 502.5 minus actual work is given as 481.14, that is 481.14. so this much of kilowatt. So what is your irreversibility? So irreversibility comes to be 21.36 kilowatt. So this is the irreversibility. This is again an answer. The irreversibility will be of course this one. Okay, at the same time we can also find the efficiency, second law efficiency, that is the second law, which is also very important. So what is the second law efficiency? The second law efficiency is nothing but it is the actual work which we have been done divided by the ideal work, that is the maximum work which we can do. That becomes 481.14 divided by 502.5. So this is the second law efficiency. Okay, so sometimes this type of the question will be asked, what is the value of the second law of efficiency? Even in the next problem we have discussed the second law efficiency too. So in the second law of efficiency we have to basically find out what is the actual work that can be done in the presence of irreversibilities or in the presence of friction, while with respect to the ideal work means that is in the absence of any friction. Okay, now come to the next problem. The next problem is a compressor is operating at a steady state, takes in 1 kilogram per second of air at 1 bar and 25 degrees centigrade and compresses it to 8 bar and 160 degrees centigrade. So now let us first make the diagram with respect to this problem. Okay, now let us draw the diagram here. A compressor is there, so I am just drawing the diagram of a compressor. Okay, this is your compressor. I am taking this as an inlet condition and I am writing 1 for inlet section. Okay, this is your inlet section and this is your outlet section. I am writing 2 for outlet section. Is that okay? Now at the inlet condition 1 kilogram of air per second of air is basically transferring, and inlet condition is given 1 bar and 25 degrees centigrade. So here pressure is 1 bar and temperature is 25 degrees centigrade, that is 298 Kelvin. Okay, and the mass flow rate is 1 kilogram per second. Now and the compressor compresses the air to 8 bar and 160 degrees centigrade. So here the pressure is 8 bar and temperature is 160 degrees centigrade, that is 273 plus 160, that comes out to be 433 Kelvin. And of course the mass flow rate will be equal to the same at 1 kilogram per second, because under the steady state condition whatever be the amount of mass is coming into the system, that is the going outside the system. So mass flow rate is continuously same. Okay, so heat transfer from the compressor to its surrounding occurs at a rate of 100 kilowatt. Okay, now it is given that this compressor is transferring 100 kilowatt of heat. Rate of heat transfer is 100 kilowatt. This is given to the problem. Okay, determine the power input in kilowatt. Okay, now let us assume that we are providing this much amount of the power to the compressor. Okay, kilowatt of the power will be given to the compressor, and the compressor releases 100 kilowatt to its atmosphere. Determine the power input and evaluate the second law efficiency. That second law efficiency, as I will told you earlier, that the second law efficiency we have to calculate, neglecting the kinetic and potential energy changes, and take the atmospheric condition as 1 bar and 25 degree centigrade. Okay, so whatever be the condition at inlet is basically your atmospheric condition 2. So atmospheric pressure is equal to 1 bar, I am writing over here, and atmospheric temperature is 298 Kelvin, that is 25 degrees centigrade. This is your atmospheric condition. This is atmospheric condition. Atmospheric condition. Okay. So now this is your figure basically. So now we have to calculate what we have to calculate. First is the determine the power input, and second is the second law efficiency. So first part we have to calculate power input. Power input, that is to calculate, and the second part we have to calculate efficiency second law. Okay, so that we have to basically calculate. So how to calculate this problem? So basically for power input, so first you apply the first law of thermodynamics. So from first law of thermodynamics, I am writing TD, that is thermodynamics. So what is the first law of thermodynamics says? That W dot, which is coming inside the system, plus M dot H1, this much carrying energy, is nothing but, under steady state condition, is nothing but it is Q dot plus M dot H2. Okay, so what is the power required input is your Q dot plus M dot H2 minus H1. So this Q dot is given as 100 kilowatt plus 1 into H2 is T2, that is 433, minus T1 is 298 into Cp, that is 1.005. This much of kilowatt power is required. So if you calculate this value, so I have calculated it, so this value is nothing but, so please write down the value. So this value is nothing but, this value is 235.7 kilowatt. So this much amount of the power is required to run the compressor. Okay, so this is the, and this is your ideal. This is also an ideal because we are not at all considering any friction. So this is ideal power too, or the maximum power. Okay, where we are not considering any friction. Now suppose we are considering, now we are going to consider an irreversibility and all that. So in that case what will happen? This portion, obviously it has availability factor or availability as AF1, I am writing AF1, and here it is AF2 for second portion. Okay, so now writing the availability balance equation. So writing availability balance equation. So what is the availability balance equation? At input, what are the input conditions? Input condition is AF1 as well as the mass work So m dot AF1, that is the availability at inlet, plus W dot is equal to, now see, this much amount of the heat has been rejected with respect to environment temperature of 298 Kelvin. This much amount of the heat has been rejected with respect to environment temperature of 298 Kelvin. So this is at output condition. If this is considered as an output condition, so this is Q dot into 1 minus T naught divided by T2, because at output we are considering this at an output, plus m dot AF2 plus I. This I is irreversibility, and this occurs just because of friction. This occurs just because of friction. So now we what is AF1 and what is AF2? All the other values are known to us, but we don't know AF1 and AF2. So AF1 is nothing but it is availability factor at input condition, which is your open system. So AF1, that will be nothing but it is H1 minus T0 S1, and AF2 is nothing but this is H2 minus T0 S2. Now using these two equations, so we can write it m dot H1 minus T0 S1. AS1 and AS2, AF1 and AF2 is nothing but it is the availability factor at input and as well as in output conditions, and since it is an open system, so for an open system the availability factor is H minus T naught S, so that's why we are using this equation, plus W dot is equal to Q dot 1 minus T naught divided by T2 plus m dot H2 minus T0 S2 plus I. That is I is your irreversibility factor. So from here, by putting all the values as, because we know H1, we know H2, we know how to calculate S1 and S2. So if you calculate now, and this AF1 and AF2, this is basically your availability factor. And this is your availability balance equation. I'm sorry. Okay, and this is irreversibility. If you have been asked what is the irreversibility, you can use this formula. Now we have to basically calculate what is the second law efficiency. So in the second law of efficiency, what we have to find out, what is to find out basically the change in availability factor, because this availability factor, change in availability factor, change in availability factor is this is actual work done. Actual work has been done on the compressor. So work actual is nothing but it is AF2 minus AF1, and that value we can use by work actual is H2 minus H1 minus T0 of S2 minus S1. Now the value of H2, that is Cp T2 minus T1 minus T0, and S2 minus S1 can be written as Cp ln V2 or V1 plus Cv ln P2 upon P1. Now all the conditions are known to us. To V2 upon V1 basically nothing but PV is equal to MRT using this equation, so we can find the value of V2 upon V1 too. So we can easily find out what is the actual work. So I have calculated this actual work by putting all these values as, and that actual work has come out to be 200.95, this much of kilojoule. This is the actual work that has been done. Okay, even for S2 minus S1 we can use another formula too, or you can use S2 minus S1 is nothing but that is Cp ln T2 upon T1 minus R ln P2 upon P1, and T2 and P2 we all know all these values, so you can use this formula also, or you can use this formula by using PV equal to MRT. By any means you can find out basically the value of S2 minus S1. Since this is the total amount of the actual work that we have calculated, so we have to find out what is the second law of efficiency. So second law of efficiency second law. So that second law of efficiency is nothing but it is your actual work divided by your ideal work. What is the actual work? That is 200.95 divided by the ideal work. What is the ideal work? Ideal work is 235.7 that we have calculated this much. This is your ideal power. Okay, so that is 235.7. So with the help of this comes out to be 85.3%. So this is your second law efficiency, that is 35.3. So in this question basically the availability balance equation writing is very very important, and this told us that there is an irreversibility, and because of irreversibility availability actual work will be less than as compared to your ideal work. So with the help of this equation we can find out the irreversibility also, if you know all these values as, and since we have to calculate the actual work, so actual work is nothing but it is the change in availability factor, and that availability factor will be calculated in a easy way. Okay, now come to the next problem. A steam enters a turbine at 30 bar and 400 degree centigrade at H is equal to and the enthalpy condition is given, that is H is equal to 30 to 30 kilojoule per kilogram, and entropy is given. Okay, so enthalpy and entropy value will be given at the inlet, and a velocity of with a velocity of 160 meter per second. Okay, the steam leaves as saturated vapor at 100 degrees centigrade with enthalpy and entropy with a velocity of 100 meter per second. Now first it's better to just make the diagram. This is the 10th problem. So I am just making the diagram of this with the help of turbine. Okay, so this is our turbine. I am taking this as an inlet condition, writing 1 for inlet and writing 2 for outlet condition. This is inlet and this is your outlet condition is given. At the inlet condition, the steam enters the turbine at 30 bar and 400 degrees centigrade. So here pressure is 30 bar, temperature is 400 degrees centigrade, that is 673 Kelvin. But at the same time the enthalpy and entropy values are given to there. What is the enthalpy value? The enthalpy value at the inlet is 30 to 30 kilojoule per kilogram. 30 to 30 kilojoule per kilogram. This is the value of enthalpy, and the value of entropy is given as 6.9212. 6.9212 kilojoule per kilogram Kelvin. The inlet condition is given, and the velocity is also given, that is 160 meter per second. So I am just writing here capital V for velocity, that is 160 meter per second. This all conditions at the inlet will be given. At the same time, the steam leaves as a saturated vapor at 100 degrees centigrade. So here temperature is 100 degrees centigrade, that is 373 Kelvin, and this is your saturated vapor. Okay, and here the inlet outlet conditions are also given. Enthalpy is 2676.1, enthalpy is 2676.1 kilojoule per kilogram, and entropy value will be given as 7.3549 kilojoule per kilogram Kelvin. Now if you see that the entropy at inlet is less than at the entropy at outlet, then what does it mean? It means that some entropy has been generated within the system, and the entropy, since the entropy is generated, it means that irreversibility is there. So because of the irreversibility, obviously the final output availability factor will be less than as compared to your inlet condition. Okay, with a velocity of 100 meter per second, and here the velocity is given as 100 meter per second. So this is at inlet and outlet conditions will be given. At a steady state, the turbine develops a work at a rate of 540 kilojoule per kilogram. This turbines develop a work of 540 kilojoule per kilogram. Basically it is W per unit mass. 540 kilojoule per kilogram of work it develops. The heat transfer between the turbine and its surrounding occurs at an average outer surface temperature of 500 Kelvin. Heat transfer between the turbine and its surrounding occurs at an average outer surface temperature of 500 Kelvin. Okay, now heat is also transferring. Now I am taking that heat is transferring Q at 500 Kelvin. 500 Kelvin. Determine the irreversibility per unit mass, that we have to calculate, and give an exergy balance and estimate the second law efficiency. Take initial condition as 1 and 298 Kelvin, neglecting the potential energy effect. So now I am just writing P0 is 1 atmosphere and T0 is 298 Kelvin. That is your atmospheric condition. It is atmospheric condition. First thing, and now what we have to calculate? First we have to calculate the irreversibility per unit mass. So I am calculating all those calculation on a per unit mass basis, and give an exergy balance and estimate the second law efficiency. So basically we have to calculate irreversibility I that we have to calculate, and efficiency second law. Second law efficiency we have to calculate. Okay, so this is the basically your question of turbine, and this enthalpy basically heat is rejected at 500 Kelvin, and the value is not being given at an average outer surface temperature of 500 Kelvin. So first we use the first law of thermodynamics, and with the help of first law of thermodynamics write down the energy balance equation. So now applying the first law of thermodynamics. By first law of thermodynamics. So what is the first law of thermodynamics is? First law of thermodynamics basically is your energy balance equation. So now writing the energy balance equation, and I am calculating all on a per unit mass basis. So it is H1, that is this coming at inlet, and what is coming outlet, and outlet conditions are nothing but it is your H2 plus W plus Q. So H1 is 3230 is equal to H2 is 2676 plus W is 540 plus Q. So we can easily find out what is the total amount of heat that has been rejected at 500 Kelvin, and once you calculate, so this value comes out to be 22.4 kilojoule per kilogram. 24 kilojoule per kilogram. So this is your Q. Okay, means this much amount of the heat has been rejected at 500 Kelvin temperature. Now I am just calculating the exergy balance equation. So now writing the exergy balance equation. Exergy balance equation. So what is exergy balance equation for this turbine? Basically at the inlet condition, if you see, so at inlet condition only this mass is entering. So I am writing it is AF1. AF1, that is exergy at inlet, is nothing but it is W, that is coming outlet. At outlet it is W, as well as the heat. This heat is coming, so with respect to this heat, exergy will be there. So this heat Q of 1 minus T naught upon T plus AF2 obviously, and irreversibility because entropy has been generated. Okay, so this is your exergy balance equation, and we have to basically calculate what is the difference of the entropy, the difference of exergy. So difference in exergy this is delta A. So this difference in exergy will be equal to nothing but it is AF1 minus AF2. Now what is AF1? That is H1 minus T0 S1 plus V1 square upon 2. This is total amount of energy at inlet minus H2 minus T0 S2 plus V2 square divided by 2. So delta A, that is the change in availability, this is nothing but it is H1 minus H2 minus T0 of S, this is S1 minus S2 plus V1 square minus V2 square divided by 2. And always remember that this value will, if you write velocity in meter per second, then you will get in joule, and here all will be in kilojoule, so we have to divide by 1000 by making the same unit. So once you put all these values as, so you will get the value of this entropy change, exergy change, and this value of exergy is nothing but, if you write, I am just I have calculated it, I am just telling you. So once you calculate this value, this comes out to be 691.84. 691.84. This much of kilojoule per kilogram. So this is your availability change. And what is this availability change? This availability change is nothing but, this is your actual work. Actual work that has been done. Okay, and ideally we have calculated, so what is the ideal work we have done, and this ideal work that we have done is nothing but it is 540 kilojoule per kilogram. So now you see that availability is more because of the friction, and ideally it has generated 540 kilojoule of because it is an output. In case of a compressor it is an input, so at input ideal work will be there, but at output the ideal work will be less as compared to your actual one. Okay, so it is 540 kilogram joule per kilogram that we are getting at output. Okay, and this is at input, means this much amount of the work has been basically transferred from inlet to outlet. Okay, and out of this work, this is an ideally, if this much of amount of the work has been basically can be transferred, but only this has been transferred. Why? Because basically we have to say this is your actually which we are is receiving, and here this is an ideally that this much amount of the work can be done. Ideally this can which amount of the work can be transferred, but actually it has been transferred this much, which it is just because of your what I say, because of your friction. Okay, and because of irreversibility. So you have been asked what is the irreversibility. So irreversibility is nothing but it is the difference of these two, and once you calculate the difference, so you will get 142. So irreversibility is equal to, irreversibility is nothing but it is your ideal, okay, how much amount of the work can be transferred and actually how much has been transferred. So this is your 691.84 minus 540, so this comes out to be 142.8 kilojoule per kilogram. So this is the irreversibility that we have calculated. Okay, and what is the second law efficiency? Second law efficiency is nothing but it is your actual work that has been obtained at the output, and how much the ideally work can be transferred at the in that can be transferred. This is nothing but it is 691, so this comes out to be 540 divided by 691.84, so you will get the efficiency as 78%. So this is the efficiency. So I think now it is clear to you, you can find the difference. Basically the difference is nothing, difference is something like that, okay, this much amount. Basically what you are saying that initially it has this much amount of energy, but finally it has transferred this much amount of energy. So a totally transferred amount can be changed, AF1 minus AF2, this much amount can be transferred, but because of the irreversibilities and other things, this amount has not been transferred. So ideally we can transfer this much of amount at the output, but we are not able to find it out. We are getting only 540 kilojoule per kilogram. So this is just because of irreversibilities, and so we have calculated this. Okay then, so now we have calculated so many questions, we have discussed so many questions, and I think now these questions will make you clear the understanding regarding to the subject as well as for the exergy, and the exergy balance is also very important, and this entire topic is very very important, though it is a little bit confusing topic, but I think with the help of my explanation and all, you are able to understand and you can able to solve the questions. In our next videos, in next series, we will solve the question that have been asked in the engineering services and the GATE examination. Okay then, thank you.